Hello everybody, my name is Katie, I'm the Introverted Reader, and ignore my ratty t-shirt, but today I just wanted to film something really fun. I know I haven't filmed in a good long while, I'm sorry about that, like work has just been murder/anxiety.com, but like I'm off today and I just wanted to film something for you guys, just something fun, and you see by the title, we're doing another tag. Yay! We're going to be doing the book sacrifice tag, and this was originally made by Miss Ariel Bassiet. I'll try and find her video and maybe link it down there, but you should go to her channel anyway because she's awesome. So she made up this tag, and I did this a long time ago on a completely different channel, which I'm not going to talk about right now because it's just embarrassing. So I have all the questions written here, so let's get going. So the first question is an overhyped book. Okay, you're out in the world, minding your own business, and then zombie apocalypse. And the only way to defeat these zombies is to whack them over the head with an overhyped book. So what is that book? So what overhyped book are you gonna run for and, you know, save yourself from the zombies? Personally though, if we were in a zombie apocalypse, my first thought is not I have to kill these zombies, it's I have to get out of here. Like, someone send me to the moon, please. Anyway, that overhyped book, I would probably say, I mentioned this in my unpopular opinions book tag video that I did, the last video that I did, and I mentioned this book series. I'm gonna have to go with The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, like The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. I read the first book of that series twice, and the second time I read it, I did actually enjoy it, but then I read the second one and I was like, and then I got to the book, I got to the third one, and after finishing that one, it just got so confusing and convoluted, and I had no idea what was happening. And there was a lot of characters as well that were just getting on my nerves. And like, everybody on BookTube goes on and on about how much they love the Raven Boys, and I'm over here like, okay. I mean, your opinion, but I think I'd much rather use it to whack the head off a zombie so that I can live. A sequel you did not like. Ooh. So basically this question is, you've just gone to the salon, you've just got your hair did, and then you look outside and it's torrential rain. What is a book sequel that you would put over your head to protect you and your hair from the rain? I had to think about this one because there's a lot that I would probably use this for. But the very first one, I was thinking about my answers last night, and my very first, my intuition told me that I would probably put Beautiful Darkness by, I think it's Cami Garcia, Margaret Stoll. I know Margaret Stoll is one of the authors. You know, the Beautiful Creatures series, Beautiful Darkness. I had those books years ago. I read that entire series. And it was just, I'm just gonna, yeah, I'm not going to get into that, but like, definitely Beautiful Darkness was honestly a waste of time. Nothing happened in that book. Everybody was just pottering around, and the main girl, like, love interest, who was the witch, she was the most insufferable, the most bratty, the most just everything annoying and bad in the world and in the book world that I don't like. Like, just moody all the time and just crying all the time and taking Ethan for granted. I just thought she took him for granted throughout the whole series. Like, she ignored him for ages. She told him that she loved him and all this. So I would definitely use Beautiful Darkness to cover up my hair. Not that it would do very much to cover up my hair, to be honest. Because my hair is bigger than my head, but you know. A classic. Your professor is going on and on about a classic you hated. What is that classic? So, you're in class, you're in a lecture, and your old snooty professor is at the front of the class going on and on and on about how this classic revolutionised literature is one of the greatest works that's ever been written ever, and my opinion is the only one that matters. And you're at the back of the class debating whether or not it would be worth it to get yourself detention by chucking that book at that old bird's head, because you're just like, I hated that book so much. And I'm like, personally, I haven't read that very many classics in my life. I have read The Hobbit, I have read Dracula, I have read The Great Gatsby, I read a little bit of the Wizard of Oz stories, but those are the extent of my classic knowledge. And to be honest, the classic I think that I would toss at my professor's head, and I'm really sorry to my friend Caitlin, who's probably going to be watching this video later because she loves this book. She probably knows which one I'm about to say. But I'm going to have to go with The Great Gatsby on this one. Why? Because, first of all, we didn't get anything from him. It was all from this other dude's point of view. And I guess I can understand that, because Gatsby was supposed to be this aloof person who just was in his house all the time having parties. And that's literally all he was. Like, we barely got anything, like, about him or from him. You know, he was just this person that showed up out of nowhere. Like, I wouldn't have minded getting a little bit more from him, because I felt like I didn't know Gatsby at all. And maybe that was the author's intention, but for me, I just didn't get enough. And also, as well, Daisy is a complete and utter flake who should have just taken responsibility for her actions, okay? She should have just taken responsibility for her actions, and, you know, well, I'm not going to give away the ending of The Great Gatsby in case you haven't read it. But, you know, I mean, don't read it. It's really not worth it. And apologies to anyone who has read it, or if it's your favourite book. It's just my opinion. That's all this is. And I think this is the last question. Yes, this is the last question. Your least favourite book of life. What book would you burn to save yourself? So let's say global warming finally catches up with us and we're literally swimming in snow and ice. And the only way to keep yourself warm would be to burn a book. Now, I would never burn any of the ones that are on my shelf here right now, because all of these are, some of them I haven't even read, but the majority of the ones that I have on this shelf behind me are ones that I have read and that I love. However, there are a lot of books that I have read in my time that I would gladly burn. Now, I don't own a physical copy of this book anymore because I absolutely despised it. So I think a lot of people might agree with me on this, because let's face it, this book that I'm about to mention was basically based off of someone else's idea, because it started off as a fan fiction and then it got published, and then the author's just getting all this praise that she just doesn't deserve for her problematic relationship. If you can read between the lines, you probably know what I'm about to say, but 50 Shades of Grey. I read the first book in that series because everyone and their menopausal horny mother was reading it, and at first I was just like, do you know what? I'm not into it. I'm not into the erotica. I mean, I don't mind sex scenes or like smut in books. Like, I don't mind that. But give me an actual story to follow as well. Like, have your little moment, but then I would like to get back to the main plot, please. But yeah, and my sister actually convinced me to read it, because she was like, but it's so good, like, it's not just about them doing it, like, it is an actual story, and like, you'll fly through it. It's really, really good, because she knows I love reading. And I was like, yeah, but is he not kind of problematic though? And she was like, no, you'll love him, he's so great. And I was like, right, okay. So I got myself just a really, really cheap copy of the first one, and I will give it this, I did get through it quickly. That's probably the only good thing that I would say about it, that I got through it quickly. Everything else was just bad. A complete and utter waste of my life and my money was put into reading that stupid book. Like, and I would gladly throw it into a trash can. A whole bunch of them, actually. Give me a whole crate of them, and I'll just throw them into a dumpster and I'll light it up, and me and all the other frozen people will just stand around it and we can keep ourselves warm. So yeah, I would burn 50 Shades of Grey. And Beautiful Darkness, Probably the whole Beautiful Creature series as well, because I just didn't have a good time reading that. So yeah, that is all the books or the questions that I have to talk about. I'm gonna pose a question to you now. If you had to, like if you were absolutely freezing cold and the only way to keep yourself warm would be to burn a book. It can be a book that you have read and that you don't. Make sure it is actually a book that you actually have read. Actually, let me paraphrase that. Make it a book that you've actually read, and that you genuinely know something about and that you would genuinely burn. So, what is a book that you would burn? Obviously, you know the answer to mine. I want to know some of yours. Leave comments down there. What book would you burn if you had to? Anyway, that is the book Sacrifice tag. I hope you all had a good time watching. I had a good time doing it. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.